okay?
Yeah, I'm okay. Congratulations, guys.
Hey everyone, I'm Ben Schneider. And so far in this series, we've covered shows with multiple million-dollar winners, a show with no million-dollar winner, a show where it's practically impossible to see a million-dollar winner, and a show where we did get a million-dollar winner, just not in regular gameplay or a top prize winner. But now it's time for something truly unique. A $1 million show that crowned exactly $1 million winner. No more, no less. And it'll give us a chance to take a real in-depth look at how this particular contestant won the top prize. So today, in episode 8, it's back to the Peacock Network, as we take a look at why winning $1 million on NBC's 1 vs. 100 is almost impossible. While some of it's necessary to revisit, I'm not going to rehash everything about how this show works because, well, 1, I've already done that, and 2, again, some of you think these videos are too long and wish I would just get to the freaking point. So let's not waste any more time here. Bob Saget always said this game is simple. And he's right. Either the contestant, the 1, will win, or the mob, the 100, will win. So looking at the game from the most basic level possible, to win the $1 million on 1 vs. 100, the 1 has to be the smartest person on set. And the chances of the smartest person on set being in the 1's position are 1 in 101, ever so slightly less than 1%. Of course, the actual odds aren't quite that simple. The 1 does have the advantage of lifelines in the form of their 3 helps, trusting, asking, and pulling the mob. The 100, meanwhile, have none of that. They have to rely on nothing more than what they know. So maybe that brings the odds slightly more in favor of the 1. But speaking of the 1, let's answer this question by taking a look at the one and only contestant who actually pulled this off. If you follow this series long enough, you'll know that I like to look back at the real-life examples of those extraordinary million-dollar moments. But I'll be honest, from my perspective, Jason Luna's run to the million is one of the most improbable runs in game show history. Jason appeared on the premiere of the second and ultimately final season of the NBC version of 1 vs. 100. And one of the key changes NBC made for season 2 was a simplified money ladder. Instead of X thousand dollars per mob member per question, contestants are now awarded a set prize value per every 10 mob members, regardless of how many questions they've answered correctly. And that probably sounds good for the contestant, right? They know what they have to do to reach a certain prize value now, right? Well, not exactly. It goes without saying that the final mob members standing are ideally the smartest, and therefore it would reasonably follow that they would be harder to eliminate. Which means that most of the time, if a contestant is on, say, the $250,000 level, there's no guarantee that getting a single question right leads to $500,000. It may take 2 or 3 questions to eliminate a good handful of mob members, maybe even more. And this is even more true at the $500,000 level going for $1 million. Now, couple that with the fact that this is all or nothing. It's not like Millionaire or Are You Smarter Than a 5th Grader where you have a $25,000 safety net at the very least. What are the chances that you would risk $500,000, potentially multiple times, knowing the penalty for answering incorrectly is leaving with absolutely nothing? Even with the sneak peek that becomes available after a certain point in the game, the risk-reward factor strongly suggests that cashing out with $500,000 is the right move to make. That's what makes Jason's run so unusual. This set of circumstances. NBC was hosting a Battle of the Sexes special. 2 games were played in this hour-long episode. First, a female contestant would face a mob of 100 men, and then a male contestant would face a mob of 100 women. That feels like it might border on political incorrectness to some today, but in the mid-2000s, this is what we're going with. And in the second game, Jason's doing quite well. He's eliminated 85 mob members, and still has his Trust the Mob help left. Fortunately, he won't use it. And I don't mean that it's fortunate that he won't need to use it. I mean that if he had used it, Bob's famous either you will win or they will win line would have been proven untrue. Because when asked what the biggest card-giving holiday of the year was, Jason locked in Christmas. I'll be honest, I don't think this was a slam dunk by any means, but I probably would have said Christmas too. Maybe that's because Jason, like myself, is a single man in his 20s who wouldn't be buying a card for Valentine's Day, while also reasoning, at the absolute most generous estimate, that only slightly less than half of the population would be in the market for receiving a card on Mother's Day. And as Jason is thinking out loud, he correctly points out that the Christmas season is a very big thing.
And then not everyone celebrates Christmas either, so this is not like a lock, like, something everyone has to celebrate or anything. Wow, Christmas season is such a big thing.
Leading him to lock in with option A. In a twist, Bob asks the producers to show how many mob members got the question wrong before revealing the correct answer.
You know what, Jason, just for shiggles, before we find out the correct answer, let's find out how many people got this wrong.
All 15. Yep, that's right. Every single one of them got it wrong. If Christmas is correct, Jason skipped right over the $500,000 level and beaten the game. If not, he walks away with nothing. It turns out every single member of the mob locked in either Mother's Day or Valentine's Day. Jason's right. He's one of the youngest $1 million winners in game show history. That dilemma I talked about earlier, how you think mob member eliminations would get slower and slower, and how it might take multiple questions to eliminate them at this stage? Ha! Yeah, forget about that this time. Jason had the good fortune of getting, to borrow a phrase from HQ, a savage question that late in the game, and being the only one to get the right answer. That unique set of circumstances is incredibly unlikely, and the proof of that lies in the fact that through the entire show's run, he was the only one to take down the 100.
Tonight, an amazing thing happened. We'll see you next time on 1 versus 100.
In 2007, I appeared on the NBC game show 1 versus 100. Having already appeared on the show as a member of the 100, this time I went for the money all by myself. The questions were fairly easy to start with, but I did struggle with the weightlifting question, which is odd considering that I was a man going against 100 women. I took a lot of chances on the show, especially when I risked throwing away $250,000. But it turned out I knew more about Hallmark cards than women did, and as a result, I won $1 million, making it the greatest moment of my life so far.